Hello everybody, this is John Julian and this is my special friend James Loewen, who you may not have seen him yet, but he is the person behind the camera for most of my Trudeau's comedy skits. So welcome, James.
Thanks, John.
Now James, he not only does photography and stuff, but he has also been a huge contributor to the script ideas and concepts and lighting and art direction and that kind of thing, and generally making it funnier because he's a very funny guy, and you even used to do comedy and stuff.
Well, I've really enjoyed comedy, and that's been the genre that I think I've appreciated the most when I go to the movies, or especially looking at old films, right back to the silent films. Some real comic genius to appreciate. Harold Lloyd and Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and all of them.
And didn't you do some comedy skits as a kid?
Yeah, I was always really interested in doing sketches and casting the neighborhood kids and my brothers and sisters in plays, and we would do them in the backyard. And then when I was 14, I got a movie camera, and that was a way of putting on film the act. So there was a one-time act, we could record it, and then the kids could go. I didn't have to strong arm them into doing a second performance.
And you made puppets that I've seen too.
Yeah, and I made puppets as a teenager. I was brought up in the era of the 50s and the 60s, and puppets were on TV all the time, and as a child I was enchanted by them and inspired.
And James is such a good coach for the Trudeau skits, because, for example, I remember our first one, the piano lesson one, and you said, "Okay, John, one more take, and slower," because Trudeau speaks slowly, and you had to remind me a few times, and even months later, you were still reminding me of certain things, or take out one word, or put in this word instead, because you really knew his mind quite well, or his speeches and politics.
It's a pleasure to be on that side of the camera and be doing that work, and then your impression of Trudeau is by far the best. And if there's something that I could do or say that would just help make that even better, So yeah, that was always a pleasure to do these, and have the honor of being in the position that I was.
Yeah, we had fun. So I figured we would come here and meet and just talk a little bit about some of the process. And it's been about 2.5 years now of skit making. Yeah. And we've had some things that you may not know about, like we were in the Bay shooting, and what happened?
Yeah, to go shopping. Well, we went in, I was nervous because we were going in the Bay, and I know there's security and detectives and
detectives.
Well, store detectives, looking for shoplifters and troublemakers. And,
troublemakers.
So, I guess what I was nervous going in, and I know we were on the sidewalk talking about, okay, how are we going to do this? We'll go into this, then we have to go into this department, get that shot. But what was surprising was that once we were inside and filming, they basically left us alone pretty much for a couple hours.
Yep, and then we even managed to get Camille, our lady friend, who to come into the men's bathroom for a moment, and we had to wait till no one else was in the bathroom, and then shoot quickly and then get on.
We looked so suspicious. We're all, there's this group of us watching everybody coming and going, and now's our chance,
Yeah.
But some funny scenes there.
Yeah. Because everything was very low budget, and we just had to, the one camera, and just I would take the chip home later and do editing and run it by you and for your professional tips and stuff.
Yeah.
And
such as it was, guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah, but we did get near the end of the Bay skit. The security, they were threatening to have security come for us.
Yeah.
And so we just said, "Oh, okay, we're almost done." And
yeah. We didn't get run out, but we were sort of warned. But fortunately, we had most of our footage, all of our footage by then. So.
And then there's soon after that we did Trudeau Visits East Hastings Street.
Yeah. And
I remember something happened with Camille.
Yeah, she was playing a homeless woman or a tent lady, and I think Axel playing the security guard to perfection. She screamed at Trudeau.
Yeah, she had to scream at Trudeau.
Yeah.
And we had to do it multiple times.
Yeah.
So some people in tents came out to defend her and tried to. They thought we were attacking her.
Yeah.
And so they're.
Axel's like strong-arming her, and suddenly there's this guy, really angry, threatening us. And we knew we were on, in other people's territory there, that we had to be careful. But, I think that when Camille was screaming at Trudeau, the sound was so loud it was ringing off the building. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that the people were upset.
Yeah. And then I added some screams later, just in the post-production.
Right.
Let's see, and then also there was there's one called Trudeau Goes to the Beach, which was a lot of fun. That's one I'm most proud of, just because it's so simple and short, a minute and a half or whatever, and at a bit of a distance with the lighting that makes me look a little bit like Trudeau or something.
Yeah. Do you remember we went to English Bay, thinking that we were going to get a background of beach activity, and then there was nobody down there. But I had just been near Kitts Beach the day before, and I thought there's some volleyball tournament going on, so there's going to be some, something good happening in the background. Right,
and so we, I needed to be seen by volleyball players, so I stood near them.
Yeah.
And then you got your shot, and luckily we got enough. Yeah. But as soon as we started walking away, I think their guardian or coach or something started following us and say, you can't film here, these people or whatever. No. And they were just like, it's just, what has the world become, with everybody being so...
Some people take to fascism, bossiness, you give them a bit of authority, and then suddenly they become, telling you what you can do in a public place.
Well, luckily we got it, and that part was fun to see. Let's see, do you remember Trudeau Does Laundry was the second one we ever did.
Yeah.
And that did quite well. Got quite a few views in a short time.
Yeah.
I think because...
I think you were just hitting the notes right at the right time, with what was going on politically and
yeah, that was one of my best for... Well, I think using the double entendres, double meanings of words and politics.
Yeah.
And that's when I sort of discovered that, and it makes me think. I wonder if I could be funny with anything else, because Trudeau made it funny. They made it easy to be funny.
Well,
so
it was interesting that you took common lines, that he would say regularly, and worked them in a way that it became the punchline of a joke, or the lead up to the joke.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite ones is I identify as one spirit, two-face.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, not to make this about me or anything, because I want you to reflect a little bit on, let's say, the Coolio's parody song that we did, Trudeau's Paradise.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most popular ones. And I watched it again this morning just to get, refresh my memory about some of this. And there, first of all, the music is so haunting, the original, and also your version.
Yeah.
And there's a certain pacing that's very...
It's kind of dark.
It's dark and it's slow, which gives the audience time to really appreciate it. And then there are some scenes in there that, as many times as I've seen them, I was there filming them, crack me up every single time.
That's nice, right, when that happens?
Yeah. When Lisa playing Danielle Smith... this shot of her just reacting to you chugging the Bud Light.
Oh, yeah.
It's just her deadpan look it sells it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then my brother Gord has contributed a lot to the skits, and many of them, like the Hockey Night in Canada one, and he wrote that whole thing. But for the Coolio one, I talked to him just a little bit after we shot, and it was too late. But he had a great idea, which we didn't do, but maybe for some of the live stuff I was able to do later. But he said, what you should do is, when it gets to the line of, look at my dictatorship, Lisa should look down.
Yes.
Down here, and then I go like this, tatership, and I lift her chin up. Because Gord is so smart, he's so advanced with that stuff that he can just, he's been watching comedy all his life too, and we used to collaborate on stuff too, so it was great having him involved.
It's interesting, John, the fact that you were doing this from a very young age as well. And, how in life those things sometimes you don't know what you're going to do with certain experiences, but they end up contributing to something later. And
yeah, which brings me to my main point here, which is I want to thank everybody again for all the comments. I know James would read the comments like right away, just for a couple days, and they would just be pouring in with all kinds of lengthy, descriptive, passionate words.
Yeah, and this is rare, John, because having watched YouTube videos from the inception when YouTube first started, it's very rare to have that kind of audience participation with lengthy comments, unless you've hit some kind of nerve. Because there are many videos that have huge amounts of views, but the comments are either very superficial, for some music video or something, or no comments at all, But your videos prompted people to participate, which is really wonderful, because I felt that you were creating a community of people.
Yeah, I saw that more and more, and then when it got me into, there was some blowback, and I got into some trouble for being politically incorrect with some of the videos, and but when I think back to the community about how that there's that richness with where it brought a whole bunch of people together at a certain time where they were really needing it.
Absolutely.
And they said that. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go and look for yourself. But
I think us too, like what we were doing by being creative at a time that was pretty dark, hopefully that inspires other people to recognize that, this is what we need, is music and comedy and light.
Yeah.
And to keep our own spirits light.
I think it's so important, right? I mean, there must be a reason that comedy is still popular in the world. Like people need some levity, no matter what it is. So anyways, thank you for being there for all of that, because that kept us going. That kept us inspired to kind of scheme about what can we do next.
Absolutely, and there were no shortages of ideas. I mean, this is some rich source material.
Yeah, one of the ones we never got to make, we had a couple more ideas in mind, but then I decided to end it. But there was this one that we were going to call the Friendly Tyrant instead of the Friendly Giant. And we were kind of working on the costume, we were like concepts, and going to build a little castle.
Yeah.
And that would have been fun, because you were going to come up with some rooster.
Yeah,
Rusty the rooster, and that would have been really funny. But, well, maybe one day when I retire or something.
Yeah. Also, too, I always envisioned doing a Twilight Zone episode with you playing Pierre Poilievre as Rod Serling.
Yeah, where Pierre would do the intro.
Yeah.
Like kind of in the black and white.
Yeah.
And then Trudeau is in the actual skit.
Exactly.
I think you had an idea where Trudeau would be, he would appear in the world and there would be no one around, and he was just alone in the world.
The last man in the world.
And if he was that kind of personality, he wouldn't do well, because he would have no one to pontificate to. Or something.
Yeah, no shortage of ideas.
What would be the equivalent of like losing your glasses, like in that one Twilight Zone episode?
Yeah.
But what would be the equivalent for Trudeau? Like if he lost his voice?
That's a good question. Put some thought to that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. And then you shot some of the live stuff, and then Ian, our friend, who you've seen in many of the skits, he provided a lot of amazing props. Like he would just show up with his steamer for clothing and wigs and all kinds of stuff. He would even sew stuff at home.
Yeah.
And that was amazing too.
Super creative person.
Yeah.
It's so much fun working with people, and I think that artistic collaboration is an absolute pleasure. It's a wonderful thing to be in your zone and creating, but when you bring people together and have that camaraderie that we shared with everybody that participated, and knowing that there's an audience who's appreciating what's going on, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it was always a thrill when we finished a certain skit and we would look in your little viewfinder and just review one of the clips.
Yeah.
And we would both be howling, like
I know.
just laughing, like because maybe just because it was so silly, like that he was saying those kinds of words in his voice.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad I got to be able to do that, even though I'm done with it. But we've, at least they're out there now, and they're complete. And
I was sorry that you ended it, and I know many people. Friends and my sister, people who were regretful that it was the end of the Trudeau videos. But sometimes it's good to finish, and in a sense, quit while you're ahead, and also to move on to other things, because I know you want to pursue your music career.
Mhm. Yeah, and maybe the audience doesn't know this, but I spent a fair amount of time trying to be a little bit fresher for the next skit so that I wasn't reusing a phrase
Yeah.
that I'd already done. I mean, sometimes you can't help it, but it was getting to that point where it's becoming harder and harder
Yeah.
to really find the freshness because he's got his things. And although we tried. So anyways, thank you for all your great support over the couple of years and comments, and thanks for joining me,
Yeah,
James.
thanks, John. Always a pleasure
Okay.
working with you.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll work on something soon again.
Good, I hope so.
Okay.
Okay.
See you, everybody.